Hello, today let's discuss logical continuation. If we try and understand that since 2006, CAT has gracefully walked out of the type of questions which is of critical reasoning and has found an able substitute in logical continuation. Logical continuation, as the name suggests, is more to do with finding the next sentence to a given set of sentences. Here, there's a small little paragraph which will be given, say probably 4 sentences or a 5-sentence paragraph, followed by 4 options. We need to find out which one of the options logically continues the given paragraph. Now, when we talk about logical continuation, what really happens is that there are 2 to 3 different schools of thought here. And that is how the questions can be classified. The questions can broadly be put into the categories of the one that helps us draw a logical inference, or one that continues the idea, tone, or even to some extent tenses. And there are times when there is a hidden parajumble inside those 4 options, wherein probably a couple of options might just be following the other options, and we might have to just arrange the 4 options so that we get the first option as the one that logically continues the idea. There are no theoretical question types per se, but there are approaches to solving the question, and one of the approaches that we'll be taking today is continuing the idea. As the name suggests, it's more to do with how the central idea of the passage is unfolding, and all we are supposed to do is find the logical link to one of the options. If you look at the first question, there is nothing more disenchanting to man than to be shown the springs and mechanism of any art. All our arts and occupations lie wholly on the surface. It is on the surface that we perceive their beauty, fitness, and significance. This is followed by 4 options, as you can see on the screen. If we consider the given example, the author states his position in the opening sentence, which is very clearly put. There is nothing more disenchanting to man than to be shown the springs and mechanism of any art. Following this opening sentence, logical continuation should continue in the same vein or explain further. Option A can be eliminated because it takes a judgmental stand unnecessarily. Option B is tricky, but is not the best available option because it underscores the importance of looking at all the options. Option C takes off in an altogether tangential direction and hence can be easily eliminated. Option D is the best one because it further qualifies what the author is trying to state. If we look at another example, the second one which is on the screen. If we are willing to see and believe, we have full opportunity to convince ourselves that the colored population are highly susceptible of cultivation. Saint Domingo produces black legislators, scholars, and gentlemen. The very Negroes who had been slaves formed a constitution that would do credit to paler-faced statesmen. We need to find out which of these given 4 options continues the idea of the passage. If we look at this particular example, this is very clear one of an idea continuation. The last line compares the achievements of Negro statesmen with their paler-faced colleagues. The paler-faced is continued in Americans, as it also continues the idea of constitution through the pronoun it, meaning the Americans should be proud at the republicanism in the Constitution of Saint Domingo. Hence, option 1 comes out to be the default option in this case. Here also what we could see is that there is a very clear idea that the author is catching on to. The options, even if they pick up one word or some reference from the top, they might not fall in sync with the idea of the author. The third example that we take here is that about capitalism. Capitalism is not in trouble. Just look at its dynamism in Asia and Latin America and even Africa. The headlines scream that China's growth rate is plunging, but only from 9.4% to 9.1%. India is facing a catastrophe of only 7.5% growth. If such is the intensity, we need to look out for an option which nearly carries the idea as well as the intensity. The 4 options are lying on your screen. If you evaluate the options and you understand the author's focus, it is primarily Asia, Latin America and Africa. This will rule out options 1 and 4 very easily. Between 2 and 3, 3 is obviously a better option as it concludes the analysis of the author, while 2 extends the topic into a different discussion altogether. Hence 3 becomes the befitting solution. All the 3 questions that we saw had an idea which the author had in his mind. For getting accustomed to these kind of questions, yes, you will need to catch the pulse of what the author is trying to make and move into the options, start eliminating the moment you find an option not in sync with the author's thought process. If we look at an example 4, the problem, it would seem, arises from the dubious current practice of listing prescribed texts. In the past, a history curriculum would identify broad themes for study, leaving teachers the independence to recommend readings for further study. A student would be tested in the examination for his ability to construct lucid arguments that would reveal their understanding of the subject. If you look at the 4 options, here they are long options bound to get you confused because there is surely some kind of a, if not an idea reference, there would be some words or jargons common to the passage lying in the options. We need to be careful with such questions. If we approach the solution, the author introduces a problem and contrasts the past. So the logical continuation would be the link that resolves the paradox or provides the missing link. Hence option 1 is correct as it introduces the term prescribed texts. 2 can follow 1 here and 3 can be the continuation to the passage but it does not resolve the contradiction of problem statement as introduced by the author. Hence option 1 is the right answer. In each of the logical continuation questions, be careful in negotiating through the options and always have your firm footing on what is the central idea that the author is trying to talk about. Reading a lot will help you crack these questions very easily. Best of luck.